Yo, what's upper? I'm your girl A1 the artist, a.k.a. I am the black sheep.
And I'm your girl Robin.
And today we're going to talk about the shit that people think about
but don't want to talk about. Similar thoughts.
Hey, what's up everybody? I hope everybody had a good week, that everybody's healthy, happy, and ready to go. We are talking a little bit about toxic masculinity and why men are afraid or apprehensive about taking therapy. Today we have a special guest today, my awesome and lovely, intelligent, insightful, amazing son, Josiah. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, and I'm here too, guys. You're so excited to introduce my son. I'm still with you guys too.
my bad, Robin. Yes, you are still with us.
I'm still with you. Hi, I'm so happy to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for
having me. And to our listeners, thank you for coming in.
Yes, of course. Thank you always, the listeners, for listening to us today. And thank you, Josiah, for coming in. We appreciate it. It's our second guest for the show.
Yes, our second guest.
Yeah.
And, before we start things off, do you want to, shout out your social media? Where can people check you out? Like, what's up? Where can we find you?
Well, y'all can follow my Instagram at Jayvo Graphics, Jayvo Graphics. I post art sometimes once a month. Mainly, I don't really.
He's being super modest. He is a very dope comic book artist, but I don't know how active he is out there. But he's definitely out there, so check him out.
Okay, so let's dive into it, guys. Let's dive into it.
So
not only are you're our second guest, but you're our first male guest. I want to point that out.
Yeah, you are.
So you are setting the stage, the standard, okay?
And probably
all men have to follow him.
And probably maybe the youngest guest we've had so far, I guess. He is
probably
15.
Will be the youngest guest.
Yeah, he is 15. Very mature for his age, very insightful. You will come to find that out as he speaks. But yeah. So let's kind of dive in. I wanted to first talk about some of the stigmas behind why men don't feel like they want to take therapy. And I was actually reading. Really?
Sorry, just a long night. That's all.
That's okay.
That was a lie. I don't even know what to do with that at this point. Anyway, so one of the articles I read about why men don't like to take therapy is the idea that men must be strong in the face of mental stress is deeply entrenched, leading to higher rates of substance abuse, homicide, suicide, and lower life expectancy. It also talks about how men don't like to go to the hospital or seek health issues, period. Like they don't want to go and do the heart checks, the prostate exams, and all of the things to make sure that they're healthy overall with their body because they have the stigma of having to be strong. So to seek mental health help, it's more like admitting to a weakness, if you will. And so we kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. So Josiah, why do you think that men don't like to take therapy, or there's some kind of bad taste about men taking therapy?
Kind of comes down to like whether it's really just kind of how you're raised and what you're raised around, or what happens to you growing up. Because at the end of the day, that's really all we are. We're just our experiences, and a lot of males do go through like experiences that deter them from taking that kind of thing. Like either a lot of times it can be from other dudes, or just, the woman in their lives that mold them like that. Like I remember being younger and seeing a kid scrape his knee and he was crying or whatever. And like the teacher told him, "Oh, you're a boy. You're not supposed to cry. You got to man up." And when I was younger, my uncle, like I was really young. He was like making me push a lawnmower in the heat. I didn't really know how to do it. I was struggling, and he was like making me man up, Like, it's the idea that we cannot admit defeat. Otherwise, we will lose in certain sense that we are less manly.
That's interesting.
Okay. So you brought up the fact that man up. You're approaching, adult manhood. What is your definition of a man? What does it mean to be a man to you?
I don't think there should be a definition of what it means to be a man or what it means to be a woman. It's just you are what you are. And the fact that people want to attach definitions not only makes people live up to a standard. You should just stop setting standards for people or what they are. They just are what they are.
You're right. And so I guess what you're saying is the biggest reason men are out of touch with their emotions is how their upbringing or society. What do you think? Or is it both? A mixture of both?
It's definitely a mixture of both, because, like, even now in the world today, like, it's just now coming apparent that, like, it's weird because people want it to change, but they're not really doing anything to change. Like, on social media, people are like, oh, no one ever takes men's problems seriously, or if a man gets molested, no one cares, but if a girl gets molested, it's all right. But the second a dude comes out and says, oh, when I was 12, my teacher molested me, it's like, oh, you're so lucky. I wish I was in your shoes, It's like, we are kind of a never-ending... We're a snake that eats itself, Like, you want to break the cycle, but you're not really doing anything to do it.
So, what are some ways you think the cycle can be broken?
I mean, just kind of stop attaching levels to people, Just stop trying to make people live up to the standard that they can't live up to.
So it sounds like that you are leaning more towards it being society's presence of what a man is supposed to be or ideal man is supposed to be, and that they are supposed to have all these things to make them more masculine in a sense. Would that be correct?
Definitely. And societal impulse on actions and what happens is proven, Like, there was a study about left-handedness. Back in the day, people were punished for being left-handed, right? And when that stopped happening, the number of left-handed people went up. So it's like, all you have to do is just stop doing something to see an increase. You can kind of see the same thing going on in a different subject that has garnered equal controversy. Nowadays, like, people are being more openly gay, and they're embracing themselves. But back in the day, you could get beat up or hurt badly for doing that. But now, since that's wrong and people don't do that anymore, it's happening more often. All you got to do is just take away the stigma from something to see it grow.
You're right. And it's easier said than done, right? Unfortunately. So you are in therapy, correct?
Yeah.
And was it a decision you came up with on your own, or A1, did you encourage him to do it? What was the reason behind, if you don't mind me asking, I'm sorry, I don't want to overstep, but what was the reason behind you seeking therapy?
I was starting to get depressed again, and I just felt like I needed help, so I came to my mom and asked. It was just simple as that, I didn't want to be in a depressed slump again, so I just kind of did something about it.
Yeah, I've always promoted that if you're not going to talk to me, you need to talk to someone. And as much as I am experienced about life, I don't know everything and I don't have all the answers. And sometimes it does take a professional to kind of assess what could be going on in a little more in depth. So I'm always pro therapy in this home. So when he came to me and said he was struggling with anxiety and depression, and mainly due to COVID and all of the things, I think a lot of people are struggling with mental health since COVID anyway. So it was like no hesitation that if you want to seek help, I'll definitely get that for you. So,
and that's really a testament to your parenting, because not a lot of kids, especially in the Black community, we can't really go to our parents and tell them, we're struggling with anxiety, we think we're depressed. They tell you to brush it off, girl or boy. Our parents tell us to just brush it off. Black people don't do therapy.
Yeah. And so that's one of the things I wanted to talk about too, is like Black people in therapy. Like, it's always been frowned upon in our community to seek therapy, because we're supposed to be these strong individuals, and we're not. Like, we got real problems, so we don't need to worry about, all the minor stuff, which, it's not really minor to suffer from mental health issues, but in the eyes of the Black community, it's like, we gotta figure out how to survive. We gotta figure out how we gonna go out the house without being shot, or we gotta figure out how to pay our bills, or how to take care of our children as a single mom, or all of the things on top of whatever we might be suffering and going through mental health wise. So what do you guys think about, therapy in the Black community, and some of the stuff that's kind of hindering that?
So I actually asked my husband about it. He's a Black man, and therapy is something that I've wanted to do. In our previous podcast, I've talked about premarital counseling and marriage counseling and how I'm pro it, but I was struggling to get my husband to do it with me. And he basically said, one, race plays a part. He feels that if he has to speak to a professional, it would have to be a black person, mm-hmm. preferably a Black man, who kind of has had similar experiences than him. I understand why he felt that way, but then again, it's like, just because they haven't experienced what you've experienced doesn't mean they can't be of help to you. And then also he says he doesn't feel comfortable expressing his feelings to someone he doesn't know. Mm-hmm. And again, I understand, but like that's what they're for. They're here to help you, and they're not gonna run and tell your business. Like, it's better for you to tell your business to this professional who can't go off and tell other people than like confiding in like a friend who might let it slip to somebody else of what you're going through.
Right. Right.
And then society, plays another part in that. Like he said, he was telling me, men are conditioned from like youth. You gotta be a man up. Like Josiah just said, you gotta man up. You gotta be a man. You can't show any signs of weakness. And men have something to prove. That's a standard that society has put on men. And I wish that is something that we could kind of peel back. Because we shouldn't. Men are human. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, men are not superheroes. Men are human, and they should be able to feel vulnerable. They should be able to speak about their feelings and not feel judged or be judged about it or be told to man up.
Right.
Because in my eyes, that's him manning up. You being in touch with your feelings, you being able to speak on how you feel, that's you manning up, right? Because that's just you being afraid or of what people are going to say or how people judging you. That's a sign of weakness. That's not you manning up. That's you like falling short. And, mental health is very important and it's very serious. And I think men need to start taking it way more seriously than what they are, because you let stuff build up and then you just crash.
Right. That's facts. And then that's where it talks about the suicide rate being a lot higher in men, because they don't know how to express their feelings, and they like you said, they let it build up, and then they shoot themselves, and it's like, oh, I never knew anything was wrong, and they were perfectly okay. I forgot the guy's name. His Chris. He was a A&R rep for Rockefeller. He worked for Rockefeller. He was like 50 Cent's mentor. I can't think of his name. It's Chris something, but he ended up killing himself, and everybody around him was like super surprised by it, and nobody like knew anything was wrong. And it's like he was probably bearing all these things that he had nobody to release to, or he chose not to, get help behind it. And he tried to figure it out on his own because, it's been brought up to you just man up and you figure it out and you are the protector and you are all these things. And you end up just can't take it anymore and you take yourself out the game. So it's like, like you said, which option does make you stronger? It takes the stronger person to say, hey, you know what? I can't do this by myself. I need help. and to actually get it. So for you, do you think that taking therapy has been helpful to you?
Yeah, I think it's been pretty cool.
What ways has it helped you out?
It helps me manage my anxiety more. I mean, there are still some days where I can't exactly control it, but it's manageable, bearable.
And what kind of things do you do to kind of manage your anxiety?
Take deep breaths, or if I'm overwhelmed, anchor myself. Just kind of list things that are around me.
Like meditation?
Kinda.
Okay.
And sometimes you just got to do it on the fly, so it's not anything like complicated, just something you can do moving. Like I'm a professional sandwich artist.
Hey, I love sandwiches.
He works in Subway, y'all.
No, I'm a professional sandwich artist for a multi-million-dollar company.
You can let them know. Hey, let them know. I ain't mad at it. Professional sandwich artist
for a multi-million-dollar company.
Period. Okay, I'm not mad.
I ain't mad.
Subway pay us.
It's hilarious.
Okay, so and sometimes like recently a customer was yelling or whatever, and I didn't know how to deal with her. I couldn't help her, and it started making me anxious or whatever. And I didn't exactly want to have a panic attack in the middle of a rush while some entitled lady was blowing her head off over a mistake that I could have fixed then and there. That's the crazy part. Because while she was yelling, her husband paid for it. I could have fixed it, but hey, she wanted to pay the extra $10 apparently. So
you're saying that your breathing exercises and your coping mechanisms helped you out in that way?
Yeah, and I was gonna talk about another mechanism that, because the mask, I can't take deep breaths technically without feeling confined because the mask. So there's like, you kind of have to put your fingertips on your arm and just kind of cradle yourself and just really relax. What it does, it simulates a parent's touch or whatever while they're comforting you, and your brain goes to the safe space of that moment. So you just kind of relax your body and bring your fingertips to your upper tricep or elbow and just kind of breathe for a while. It helps.
That's interesting. I like that. What other things do you do to kind of cope with your anxiety and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, I keep myself busy. The problem was I would only get anxious when I let myself relax. So I kind of stay busy. So, I mean, I'm not really in my bed or really relaxing until I'm about to go to bed.
I noticed too that you have been focusing more on drinking more water and exercising and making sure you get your rest and everything like that. Do you feel like those essential things of taking care of your body physically is helping you mentally?
Definitely. Exercise is an important factor in life. And, there's a phrase, when the day comes, everyone will love me because I will be ripped. And I live by that phrase every day.
Okay. Macho man.
I talk to my sister every day about it too.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. The words that come out of this dude's mouth. I never know what he's gonna say.
I love it. But I saw an article on the American Psychological Association organization website. A lot of men are like objective to therapy because it's called therapy itself. So like it said basically men are more susceptible to treatment if they called it coaching, consulting, or training rather than therapy. Because I guess the word therapy just sounds like you're weak.
That's interesting.
Therapy screams weakness, I guess, to men. So by changing the name, men are more susceptible to it. And then there's a professor, Aaron Rockland at the University of Texas. He's a professor and a psychologist, and he said that he when he's treating men, he tweaks his methods. So instead of doing the face-to-face therapy, they're standing side by side, they're walking. It's like they're just having a conversation, right? They're just walking next to each other. And he uses a lot of like sports analogies and references, like man, I put man in quote, but man things.
Right.
That he references in his sessions. And that's like one of the, he's seen improvements with communication with his male patients, and it's really helped. And I wonder if more therapists or psychologists maybe try this method, we can get more men and to seek help. If you know a guy who looks like he's going through something and he's not susceptible to therapy, you could say, maybe you need like some coaching, some consulting, like maybe, what do you think about that? Like maybe if like these psychologists maybe change the names of their firms, instead of using therapy, use coaching or consulting in the title, in the business name. Like, do you think that would make a big difference?
I definitely do. I think that the whole idea of that, it sounds more macho, if you will. Especially when it's like, okay, I'm getting coached or I'm getting trained. Like that's more athletic, and it's like, guys like to be coached in a basketball or coached in football or whatever. So it's like putting it in terms of athletics, and a lot of guys typically like sports. Not all guys, but a lot of them do. So it's like if you put it in that terms, like we get ready for the big game and we're gonna do this and hype them up and all the things, then maybe it would change their perspective. Because at the end of the day, it is like a guideline, or the therapist is providing a way for you to see things in a different perspective. So it is, and helping you manage your life moving forward. So it would be some form of training or coaching. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I like the idea behind it as well. What do you think, Josiah? Do you think they should change the name from therapy to coaching?
Yeah, I think that I don't really know. I mean, I think that whatever works for different people, different strokes for different folks.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of kids have taken this COVID thing really hard. There are kids that have killed themselves or just are going through some serious depression. Have any of your friends experienced like real depression? And if so, how did you try to encourage them to seek help, or were you their help? Like how have you helped?
I mean, none of them really. The only time they really went full quarantine was at the very beginning. But other than that, they were still going to the park, still hanging out and all that. And they also I only have one friend who was affected, and it's because he did online school, and it just didn't really work for him, and he got sad over his grades. But no one was really there for me.
That's interesting.
Not all. Like I was completely isolated for a little over a year. I haven't even seen my friends in a couple months now. But like I didn't really get any calls or texts for anyone checking up on me. And only one of the people I know, really realized what I was going through. And it was only like 2 or 3 months ago. And even then, I still haven't really gotten checked on, so.
How does that make you? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to ask, like, were you vocal about your depression and anxiety with your friends?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So how does that make you feel as far as the continued friendship? Does that make you feel like you can't rely on them for the big stuff, or what does that look like?
It just kind of like they still talk to me, like it doesn't. I don't think there'll ever be anything as big. Like I don't feel abandoned, but I don't feel heard.
Do you think that contributed?
Definitely, I felt alone.
Do you think maybe it's because they're uncomfortable? They don't know how to approach it? Or are they like oblivious? Like, what do you think it is? Because I don't think it's that they don't care about you. Or do you feel like they don't care about you, or is it something like it could be they're oblivious or they're just uncomfortable and don't know how to really help or handle it?
It's probably that they don't really know how to help, but like they all have like they're not. I don't really like being around people that I can't mentally vibe with. I don't like being around people slower, so I'm like it wouldn't hurt to ask. Because there were times at some point or another where I didn't really see a point in continuing. That's one of the main factors of me going to mom for therapy. Because I felt alone. I was getting more and more depressed, and I wasn't almost, but I was like considering it. It was to the point where if I was like crossing the street to go to the convenience store to get a drink or something, and the truck just swerved around the corner, I wouldn't actively jump in front of the truck, but I wouldn't move out the way, So that was the point where I was like, I need help.
I'm so glad that you spoke up and told your mom. That
makes me sad to listen to.
It does make me sad. I'm a gangster and I don't cry, but that made me sad. But like I said, that's really a testament to you, A1. Like, I love that he felt comfortable and safe enough to come to you to tell you how he's been feeling and how you were so quick to help him, how you were so quick to take action, and I love that. And you're just a phenomenal parent, and I hope parents are out there and they heard this podcast and they listen to their kids. When your kid is coming to you with something like that, it's serious, and take it seriously, and don't tell them to man up or brush it off. Take it seriously and seek guidance for them in any way that you can.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that rough patch, and I am grateful that you came to me. I was not aware of the severity of what you were going through, but I am happy that you decided to get help or ask for help. So, I love you, kid.
Thanks, Mom. Love you too.
I love you guys. What a great episode. Josiah, thank you so much for sharing with us. You're such a great kid. Guys, make sure you check him out on Instagram. Jayvo, that's Jayvo, right? That's right?
Yeah.
Graphics.
Jayvo on Instagram. He's a graphic designer. He's a great artist, great kid, great all-around person. And that's all we have for you today, guys.
Thank you for listening once again. See you next week.
Bye. Have a great week.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's topic, let's keep the conversation going. Make sure you like us on Facebook at Similar Thoughts Podcast and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at _Similar Thoughts.
And also follow me at A1 the Artist. That's AONE_the_artist. And I am the Black Sheep. And that's IM_THA Black Sheep. Thanks again for listening. And you guys have a wonderful week.